Software development topics I've changed my mind on after 10 years in the industry. An article by Chris Keel, I'll have a link in the description below. Things I've changed my mind on. Things I now believe which were past me would have squabbled with. Simple is not given, it takes constant work. I think this is pretty true. You need to constantly refactor stuff, and if a system starts simple and you have all the requirements, with time the business usually comes with new requirements that you haven't thought about, and you constantly need to work on it to keep it simple, to keep it manageable, and to keep it maintainable. And there's a lot of refactoring when there's new features coming in. Next, there's no pride in managing or understanding complexity. Not sure if I agree with that. In my company, we have a huge chunk of code that only a single person actually works on it, mainly. And it's a very complex part. And if I get a task in that part, you go for the knowledge to that person. I'm not sure if this is true. I think there is some pride in understanding a huge system. Obviously, you should strive to have it made in a simple, understandable way, but there are systems that are very big, are very hard to understand, and I think there is some pride in that. Though I think the author here is probably referring to some people that are making things overcomplicated and like gatekeeping them from doing actual work. Maybe that's the case. Typed languages are essential on teams with mixed experience levels. Well, in my current job, we don't really have any juniors. We are mostly mid and senior developers. So I'm not too sure if types are that essential. We are coding in PHP where types aren't mandatory, but they do help. They do help to find bugs and not make some problematic decisions. Maybe I don't really have a good experience with mixed level experience level programmers, so maybe that's true. Java is a great language because it's boring. I could say the same about PHP. When you know your language, it becomes kind of boring, and if you know your tool, you can do most of the stuff. There's Well, that's enough said, I guess. REPLs are not useful design tools, though they are useful exploratory tools. What the hell is REPLs? Replit build apps and sites with AI? What? Read, eval, print, loop. Okay, I'll skip it. Most programming should be done long before a single line of code is written. I'm not too sure about that. I do have a example in my mind of a person that can code inside his head, and probably he could write it all down in kinds of diagrams and plans, etc. Though for me personally, I need to go in, write some code, see how it all works, and then I can do a better estimation of what needs to be done. And yeah, planning so far ahead usually leaves a lot of blind spots that you can't really figure it out unless you're super duper smart and you can do it all in your head. Then maybe some planning obviously is good, but don't really agree with this one too much. Front-end development is a nightmare world of Kafkaesque awfulness I no longer enjoy. I don't really enjoy front-end development. I did enjoy it more like several years ago when we were using Vue.js 2. I talked a little bit about that in my previous video. I'm not big on front-end development. Elegance is not a real metric. I guess that's true. There are, I think I've noticed people in the Laravel community where they want to write code in an elegant way. And can you really put it in rules? What is elegant and what is not? So yeah, I do agree with that. Good management is invaluable. I went most of my career before seeing it done well. I guess this is true. DynamoDB is a good database if your workload lines up with what is offering. What is DynamoDB? Amazon DynamoDB is a NoSQL database. This is in Lithuanian, so if you don't understand it, allows you to develop modern applications at any scale. Well, I have not had any experience with it, so I guess it's a good database. I couldn't really think of a bad database that is being used around. Not sure. Objects are extremely good at what they are good at. Blind devotion to functional is dumb. Well, I do mostly functional, I mean object-oriented programming in our project. I don't have a lot of experience with functional, but I guess going only one way or the other is not the most optimal. Opinions I've picked up along the way. So these were the things that he changed his mind on, and these are opinions that he picked up along the way. Engineering is mostly about communication. Communication between APIs, communication between people, communication between businesses and the programmers. Not sure. It's a very broad statement. Never go full monad in Java. What is monad in Java? Throughout the article, APIs of a few popular monads from the Java ecosystem. I'm not sure what it is. The query planner is a cruel mistress. What is a query planner? I'm not sure. If I think something is easy, that's a sure sign I don't understand it. There was a meme where a senior developer was asked to change the color of a header, I guess, and he said it will take 2 days, and the junior developer said it will take an hour. So yeah, sometimes stuff is definitely harder than you think it is, though yeah, with time, when you know all the complexities, you're better at estimating the time. You have to give younger devs room to explore and make mistakes. I didn't have in my career yet the opportunity to mentor younger devs. Usually the developers that come in our team are similar experience, you just guide them along, but not too sure if this is true. Usually if a junior developer pushes some real bad code into your repo, do you really want to have it there? Not sure. Some old code can live for a long time and be used, and no one takes the time to fix it. We have such places in our project, and it's a pain in the ass. So not sure if that's true. We'll see. Maybe in the future I will agree with that. You have to actively invest in improving your soft skills, and investments pay back immediately. I haven't seen that to be true in my experience, though if I do say so myself, have pretty good soft skills. I am a pretty agreeable person, and I can interact with different people, I guess. But does that help me a lot? We'll see. Very few abstractions exist in general application development. Just write the code you need. That's for sure. We had this mastermind developer in our team that was doing abstractions on abstractions on abstractions. And yeah, he would disappear for a week or two and then come up with this insane abstraction for a basic stuff. And we're still working on his code, and it takes a lot of time to go in and understand abstraction, what was being made there, why was it made there, why was it an abstraction. It's good when it works, but usually you still need to go in and you need to change stuff, and then you are with a pile of mess on your hands. ORMs are the devil in all languages and all implementations. Just write the damn SQL. I have worked on a few bugs created by ORMs. I couldn't say they are the devil in all languages. The bugs were quite nasty because when you do a review of the code, you don't really understand what's going wrong because it is abstracted. You don't really know what's the SQL that is printed out, so it's hard to review ORMs, especially when you have a bigger, more difficult queries. But overall, they do speed up the process of general development. But yeah, I would lean on to the side to write SQL when you know that you will be doing a huge query. It is better to just do the SQL, know what's going to happen, and yeah, I'll leave the ORMs for the easy stuff. The trouble with functional programming is functional programmers. Not sure what he meant here. Given a long enough time horizon, you will deeply regret building on serverless functions. What does it mean, serverless functions? A piece of business logic that is both stateless, does not maintain data, and ephemeral, is used and destroyed. Not sure what he means by that. We're not using that in our business. Types are assertions we make about the world. Sounds like Paulo Coelho. Maybe, I guess. We think that a phone number will be a string because it has a plus and numbers. Though maybe in the future phone numbers will be the name of... Not sure. I guess. Distributed locking is still really hard for some reason. Yeah, I guess it's hard to reason out about locking systems. Formal modeling and analysis is an essential skill set. I'm not doing much of it. Very rarely, I guess. Only when someone asks me to document stuff, then I do like formal modeling of the system, though it's very rarely that I run into it. Isolation is the most important property of a good integration suite. Not sure. DynamoDB is the worst possible choice for general application development. That's a big statement. DynamoDB, fast NoSQL key value database. Okay, and what was here about DynamoDB is a good database, and then is the worst possible choice for general application. Oh, okay. Yeah, NoSQL is definitely not the go-to if you are just doing a startup and you don't need a lot of scalability. and maybe you will never have a lot of users. Yeah, so just going for a NoSQL database is definitely not a good idea from the get-go. Most won't care about the craft, cherish the ones that do, meet the rest where they are. Again, it's something like Paulo Coelho. I think I do agree with that, though I had a team member that was who cherished the craft like too much and was debating everything and was like over the top cherishing the craft. I think I'm in the middle somewhere, though there are definitely people that don't really care that much about coding. They just come in, they do the job, they learn what they need to learn. Yeah, meet them where they are. I think it's a good statement. Gradual dependently typed languages are the future. Gradual dependently typed languages are the future. Not sure what he means. You literally cannot add too many comments to test code. I challenge anyone to try. Adding comments to test code. How do you test your comments? Or what do you mean? Adding comments so others understand what is being written? Not sure. In our project, we don't really leave a lot of comments, only when a property is... Well, there was examples like a property was not properly hinted in the IDE because of some nuances. Sometimes we do write a little documentation. What is it all about? Where is it used? But it's very rare that we actually comment anything inside our code. We put it all in the documentation, and if you need it, you go over there and read it. So probably I don't agree with this, though I don't have the full context what he meant over here. Things I have not changed my opinion on. So he wrote the same 4 years ago and he didn't change his mind over here. So it's not a lot of things. Definitely a lot of new opinions and quite a few of things he changed his mind on. So in 4 years he definitely grew a lot, I would say, and stuff changed. So people who stress over code style, linting rules, or other minutiae remain insane weirdos to me. Focus on more important things. Yeah, that's really true. There's nothing more horrible than seeing comments in your pull request that are all about style, that you didn't leave a blank line, that your line is too long, or whatever. Right now we have fixed this problem that we had previously. We're now using PHP CS Fixer, which does all the rules for you. We also have Mass Detector, PHP Stan, and other great tools that scan your code for you and gives you all the fixes based on the rules that you have set as a team for the project. And the code style is pretty much the same for everyone, and you need to go through all these linters before you can push your code out. So that solves a lot of unnecessary comments and pull requests. Though if we didn't have that, would I be worried about it, about all these linting and not having proper formatting? Probably, maybe. There are some people that write quite crappy code, especially if you would bring in a junior developer. He would definitely write the code not to the PSR standard of PHP, and that would be, well, You would still be able to read it. It would look ugly because right now our eyes are basically fixed on this standard that we use. So anything out of the standard looks a bit icky, but yeah, focus on more important things. I remember in my olden days, I had to rename YAML files from YAML to YML just because I got a comment on that. That was quite terrible. Code coverage has absolutely nothing to do with code quality. In many cases, it's inversely proportional. I'm still torn about tests. Some tests are definitely good. A lot of tests where you mock every single service and the test is like not really testing anything, just duplicating the same code, and when you refactor something, you also need to refactor the test. What's the point of it? Maybe to just not lose some spaces that you need to rewrite as well. It sometimes helps. Though I'm not really big on testing, that's for sure. Monoliths remain pretty good. Yeah, that's true. Also, not doing a monolith and basically splitting your project brings a lot of problems and makes it very hard to code. And if a monolith actually is enough for your business needs, go for the monolith for sure. It's very hard to beat decades of RDBMs research and improvements. RDBMs, I think I know what this means. Relational databases, yes. So yeah, 99% I think of projects work well on relational databases, and I think that's kinda similar statement to this one for general application development. Yeah. Microservices require justification. They are increasingly just become assumed. We don't use microservices, so can't really comment on that. Most projects, even inside AWS, don't need to scale and are damaged by pretending so. I haven't been in this situation, so I guess a lot of problems you can just fix with better coding and not scaling up your resources, because yeah, it takes a lot of users until you actually need to scale something. 93%, maybe 95.2, that's a very exact number, of project managers could disappear tomorrow to either no effect or a net gain in efficiency. This estimate is up from 4 years ago. It's interesting what kind of experience he had with project managers. I do think they are kind of important. In my company, we had like 3 POs, 1 left, and the work for us developers did not change a lot. There's a little bit a drag on tasks, but it's manageable, I guess, though these numbers are very high, 93%. So in our company, 33% of project managers disappeared, and we actually felt it. So yeah, don't see this as true. I would say this as 20%, I guess. It really depends on how big is the company. I guess the bigger the company, more project managers, and some maybe aren't necessary. So we'll see which of these have flipped at year 15. So this was the article, Software Development Topics I've changed my mind on after 10 years in the industry. How did you like it? Let me know in the comments below.